Good evening. This is Arirang News. It's January 1st, New Year's Day in South Korea. I'm Lee Soo-jin. President Lee Jae-myung began 2026's first full year in office by delivering his first New Year's message as president and visiting the Seoul National Cemetery. Our Blue House correspondent Song Yoo-jin has the details.
A new year often begins with resolutions. For President Lee Jae-myung, it's making 2026 a year where the whole nation can enjoy the fruits of Korea's economic growth.
올 한 해를 붉은 말처럼 힘차게 달리는 해로 대한민국 대도약의 원년으로 만들겠습니다. 대도약을 통한 성장의 과실은 특정 소수가 독식하는 것이 아니라 모두가 함께 나눌 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
President Lee began his New Year's address by thanking the public for helping restore stability after former President Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law declaration and subsequent impeachment. He says the country must now move faster, but with a shift in mindset.
불평등과 격차가 성장을 가로막고 경쟁과 갈등이 격화되는 이 악순환 속에서 자원의 집중과 기회의 편중은 이제 성장의 디딤돌이 아니라 걸림돌이 되고 있습니다.
The president laid out 5 policy directions. First, more substantial and decisive support for regions away from the capital.
인재와 기술 양성을 위한 교육 투자, 삶의 질을 높여줄 광역 교통과 문화시설 투자, 여기에 관광 정책까지 하나로 잇는 집중 투자를 통해 지방주도 성장의 기반을 촘촘하게 실현해내겠습니다.
Second, the president called for an environment where young entrepreneurs can take risks and innovate, allowing startups and SMEs to thrive alongside big companies. On social policy, Lee stressed the need for safer workplaces through tougher penalties, noting that South Korea has the highest industrial accident death rate in the OECD. Turning to culture, which he described as a pillar of national competitiveness, President Lee pledged stronger support not only for pop culture, but for fine arts. On diplomacy and security, the administration will work toward peaceful coexistence on the Korean peninsula.
페이스메이커로서 북미 대화를 적극 지원하고 남북 관계 복원을 거듭 모색할 것입니다.
The president's resolve was evident at his first official engagement of the year, a traditional visit to the Seoul National Cemetery. In the guest book, he wrote, "We will embark on the first year of a great national leap forward toward a society where we can all live well together." Song Yoo-jin, Arirang News.
Seoul and Beijing's foreign ministers spoke on the phone on the final day of 2025 for high-level coordination on President Lee Jae-myung's state visit to China at the start of January. Our Oh Se-young has more.
South Korea and China's top diplomats held a phone call for concrete and substantive outcomes ahead of President Lee Jae-myung's state visit to Beijing. Seoul's foreign ministry says Minister Cho Hyun talked on the telephone on the last day of the year with his counterpart Wang Yi, focusing on the top-level trip from January 4th to January 7th. The two ministers reviewed the trajectory of South Korea-China relations over the past year and agreed to maintain close communication to ensure the success of the visit, which will mark the first state-level summit diplomacy of the new year for both countries. Both sides stressed the need to deliver substantive results that can be tangibly felt by the public and consolidate the momentum towards fully restoring Seoul and Beijing's strategic cooperative partnership. Cho and Wang also exchanged views on the situation on the Korean peninsula and in Northeast Asia, agreeing to continue efforts aimed at regional stability and prosperity. This comes amid North Korea's continued missile tests. On Sunday, Pyongyang carried out a launch drill involving long-range strategic cruise missiles over the West Sea, with leader Kim Jong-un observing on site, 4 days after it tested new surface-to-air missiles. North Korea has described the launches as part of efforts to strengthen its nuclear capabilities, rejecting the idea of denuclearization. Against this backdrop, Seoul has repeatedly emphasized the importance of regional coordination, including with Beijing, while encouraging the resumption of dialogue between Pyongyang and Washington. During his 4-day stay, the South Korean leader will hold a summit with President Xi Jinping, where security matters are likely to be raised. On top of that, South Korea's decision to pursue nuclear-powered submarines may be discussed. The two leaders are further expected to address economic relations following years of market uncertainty, following Beijing's unofficial sanctions on South Korean businesses and culture, after Seoul decided to adopt a US missile defense system against North Korea's growing capabilities. Yi and Xi last met in Gyeongju in November when the Chinese leader visited South Korea to attend the APEC leaders meeting. The upcoming talks in Beijing will mark their second summit in just over 2 months. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
On New Year's Day, Defense Minister An Kyu-baek conducted a command flight with an unprecedented escort of Korean-made fighter jets to inspect the country's military readiness posture. Early on Thursday morning, on board an Air Force 737 PSI airborne early warning and control aircraft, which is often referred to as a command post in the sky. Escorting him were 6 Air Force fighter jets, including the domestically produced KF-21, FA-50, and TA-50 aircraft. It marked the first time Korean-made fighter jets were deployed to escort a ministerial command flight. During the mission, An held command calls with frontline commanders from the Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Army units operating in the EC and border areas. He stressed the need to maintain a firm military posture and said sustainable peace is only possible when the country has the strength to defend itself. South Korea's exports surpassed the $700 billion mark in 2025, setting an all-time high. Data from the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy on Thursday showed that exports rose 3.8% to $709.7 billion last year, exceeding the previous record set in 2024. This was largely driven by semiconductors, the country's top export item, surging 22.2% to $173.4 billion, also marking a new annual peak. Imports fell 0.02%, resulting in a trade surplus of $78 billion for the year. As for the month of December, the value of exports also hit a monthly high, extending their on-month growth streak to 11 consecutive months. The long wait is nearly over for K-pop fans worldwide as BTS is set to make a full group comeback in March. The group's agency Big Hit Music announced on Thursday that BTS will release a new album on March 20th. The release will mark BTS's first full group album release in 3 years and 9 months, following the completion of mandatory military service by all 7 members. The album release date was also revealed through a handwritten letter sent by the group to members of its fandom. Following the album's release, BTS is set to embark on a large-scale world tour. And that's all we have for this evening. Arirang News will be back at 10 a.m. Korea time on Friday. Thank you for watching and Happy New Year.